So students, next we will discuss the components of cyber security, or we can say the elements of cyber security. So there are basically four elements as such. The first is the application security. So we have already understood in detail regarding these cyber crimes, and now if you want to protect yourself, if you want to make your system very much secure, in what dimensions you need to work on that. And the first dimension is basically, first component is the application in itself. What do you mean by the application security? It simply means that we need to ensure that during the design of the application, the designing of the application, during the upgradation of the application, or maybe first development, design, upgradation, and then even at the time of the maintenance of the application system, we need to ensure that our application is secure. First aspect. Second is at the information security. We need to ensure that whatever the identity of the users or customers are there on the application, it needs to be protected, that there should not be any kind of identity thefts, and we need to protect the privacy of the information provided by the users. I have already discussed regarding the confidentiality, integrity, and availability or accessibility of the data. So we need to ensure that the data, the documents that are there within the application, it needs to be secure. This is the second component. The third component is basically the network security. On the particular network where we are working, we need to ensure that the network is very much secure. So students, what do you mean by this? We need to protect usability of the network. We need to ensure the reliability of the network, integrity and safety of the network. So you can mention these points in your exam also. Fourth point is the disaster recovery planning. We need to ensure that even if there is some kind of a attack, it happens, let us suppose, first of all, before the attack, we should ensure the impact and risk analysis that can be prevailed during the particular working of the application. So we need to be sure that what are the risks associated with the kind of the application or network we are working. First we analyze it. Let us suppose the attack happens and the cyber attack has happened to the system. We need to ensure that what is the recovery planning we have, so that we can minimize the damage and recover the data. So this is what is being written here, that we need to ensure the recovery strategy, we need to build the disaster recovery plan, we need to ensure the plan of the maintenance of the audits and everything, and gather the data as well. So these all things comes under the topic of the cyber security, where we need to ensure that there should be some kind of a recovery planning. If this question comes up, then you can definitely draw this particular flowchart, and this flowchart will itself tell the examiner that you are aware of the problem, you are aware of the topic, and you are aware, you can really explain it well. So students, these things, it matters in your answer. You should have the capacity and capability to remember this first of all, and then reciprocate it in the examination. And when you do that, it takes less words and it takes less efforts in doing so, but the output that you obtain is much better. There is one more actually component, and that is basically physical assets security. So wherever your systems will be, wherever your computer system devices will be, networks that are working, that is there, when you need to obviously physically protect them as well. This is one component, but at least you mentioned the previous four. Next, we will discuss the importance of cybersecurity. You see, we will discuss the cybersecurity importance with respect to the different stakeholders. And once you think of the all these stakeholders that are basically being harmed in this case, you will be able to write the answer. First of all, at the individual level. Why do we need cyber security at the individual level? Because your devices, your electronic devices, mobile devices, computer devices, they have your photographs, your videos, maybe some of your personal information, just like your banking account details, maybe their passwords are there. And to protect all this, you want your systems to be secure. So that is why it is important for the individuals. And when we talk about the business organizations, why is it important for business organizations to ensure cyber security? Because first of all, to not to lose the public trust. I gave you the example of Zomato, where many of the users' data, it was the theft happened and a cyber attack happened to the system. So if this happens, then the trust in the public, it is basically harmed, and in that case the reputation of the company is at stake. So public trust is very much important for a business. Secondly, it is important that they do not lose money as well. Financial frauds can happen, and in addition there can be, it can be a possibility that even healthy competition is not there, and the leverage that they can obtain is also at stake. So if a company is operating and uh, planning to launch a new mobile phone with the different features and difficult uh, some unique features, let us suppose, and if this particular hacking happens and that particular research and development whatever happening in this company is being leaked, then they will be in a disadvantageous position and they may lose the competition in the market. When we talk about the critical information infrastructure, then that is also very much important for us, because if banking and finance, we see different, this can be a potential question and it's a separate question, you know that. So banking and finance is basically critical information infrastructure because our economy is dependent on it. Then somewhere the telecommunications systems, very important, oil and gas systems, and then particularly electric powerhouse systems, nuclear powerhouse systems, airports, railway stations, whatever the critical information is there, we need to ensure that we need to protect it at the national level. National level. We should also think in the aspect of the, at the aspect of the government level. Why government actually needs this particular kind of a cyber security in their systems? You know that the government is actually possess lot of confidential data, confidential data, and if it happens to be in the hands of the people who are against us, or maybe who are at a rivalry with us, then they can take advantage and they seek disadvantage of the situation and they misuse the particular information. We as government, or a particular government has a lot of information regarding the geography of the country and military, in fact military services are there, so we need to protect it. In addition, now what government is doing, actually it is digitizing the public services, and one such example is of Aadhaar cards that are being linked to all kinds of public services. In addition, there is land records that are being digitized, and if government is trying to give some payment to its people, maybe women or maybe the workers, then it's doing so, the government schemes, it is doing so using Jan Dhan scheme. So Jan Dhan accounts are being opened up for the people, and then they are being, the banking system, they have been included in the banking system, and the direct benefit transfer is happening, DBT, direct benefit transfer. So these all things are happening, and that is why there is a lot of importance for the governments and also to ensure that the cyber security is there, because if it is not, then all this data that can be actually leaked and can be misused. One such example happened. It was told that you can get the personal details of the people in just 500 rupees, and there's a breach in the system where the lot of the personal information of the Aadhaar cards, it's at public display, you can just buy it, and this news was actually refuted by the UIDAI, where it has showed that nothing of this thing happened, and it's not it's fully safe. It's biometric information. It's fully safe. It's not there. So we need to ensure that such crimes should not happen actually. Now, important topic of discussion is the cyber crimes that are happening against the women. Students, 10 mark question separately UPSC can ask you, where women can be, that Indian society, one topic of vulnerabilities of the Indian women that we discuss, and in it also the vulnerable groups that we discussed regarding children, regarding women, regarding senior citizens in your polity paper also, whatever acts are there in the protection. So if UPSC links this particular topic of cybercrime with the women, you should not be surprised, because UPSC does so. And if 10 marks question comes up in tomorrow in future, then be prepared for this respect. So I will give you some information that yes, women are somewhere, girls and women, they are very much vulnerable with respect to cyber crimes and cyber attacks. And I will give you some data that this is 2019 data, where it is being said that total cyber crimes, they have increased to 18% than in the past, but the total number of cyber crimes against women, if we say against women, it has increased to or gone up by 28%. You see the difference. Against the women, the rise is much more in comparison to total number of cybercrimes. So this data is given by NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau. You can quote this data in your examination, no problem at all. And also in 2021, it was seen that the first particular state which records the highest number of cybercrimes against women is Karnataka. Second number is for Maharashtra, and third is for Uttar Pradesh. When we talk about the conviction rate has increased in case of cyber crimes against women. Earlier, it used to be, in 2019, it used to be approximately 10.8%. However, in 2021, it is increased up to 35.2%. So you see, there is a lot of increase in the conviction rate of the people who are responsible somewhere in attacking the women. One such example, if I give you, is the boys locker group on Facebook, and they used to mock the photographs of the women, and they talk ill about the girls and women, and they were caught, the group of boys. In fact, another example is where many photographs of Muslim women, they were at sale, and that is also one of the issue which the people whose photographs were actually being selling up in the market, in the cyber market, they were not known. It was unknown to them. So students, these are the examples that you can quote in the examination. And in addition to this, if we talk about major types of crime against women, again there is data where at first number it is the financial frauds, and at second number it is sexual exploitation, and at third number it is extortion, where blackmailing happens, and the money is being asked to the woman, because at times it happens that these particular people who hack the system, the mobile phone of the girls, maybe they threaten the person, the girl, that If she is not going to pay so and so money, her photographs, the mocked photographs will be circulated according to her her relatives, her contacts and details, and that will be shared. So that will is going to harm her dignity and integrity of the person. So these crimes are happening, and generally it is teenagers who fall into the trap, and we need to ensure the safety of the people as well, and we need to make spread this awareness among the masses that these things should not happen. But since last 5-6 years, there has been tremendous increase in such kind of crimes. And what are the types of crimes that happen against the women? If we talk about the types of the crimes, there is cyber stalking, there is defamation of the woman, the integrity and dignity of the woman is being tarnished here. The morphing of the photographs happened, that where the body of somebody else and the photograph has been morphed over it to tarnish the image of the person. Trolling happens. This is also a problem which we will see regarding the role of social media in our daily lives. Also, the negative impact of social media flourishing is the trolling, the cyber stalking, cyber bullying that happens at the cyber world, and then the cyber pornography. This is one of the very big issues. Okay, students, and there's a data I'm giving you where in 2017 news came regarding these problems, where in April 2017 it was said that there was an arrest of a Chennai cop happened because he was morphing the photographs of one of the businessman's daughter, and then one of the girl who was 21 years of age, she committed suicide because she was victim of such problems. So these particular types you must write in your answer if it has been asked to you. Such data can be quoted in your introduction, and very important topic, you cannot ignore it. Even if this topic comes to the new problems, the arising and different types of problems that is happening to the women, cyber crimes is one such topic, one such point there. You should not miss it out. Many of you students ask me that, sir, what is stalking here? What does it actually mean? So this simply means harassing. When harassment is done with unwanted and obsessive attention is being given, this is called as stalking. So a girl is not desiring it, a girl is not wanting it, but it is happening. Continuous harassment is there, threatening is there, any kind of threats can be there, some kind of ill words is spoken to her, abusive language has been used. This is basically stalking, and if it is done at the digital world, cyber world, then it is cyber stalking. Okay, this is general word, stalking. These are the types of the cyber crimes that happens against the women. Be prepared for such kind of question. Do not be shocked. Next, we will discuss, students, what is cyber warfare. So I have already told you that warfare, if it is happening across the nations, then the word will be used, and the cyber problem, cyber crime can be against the individual, the organization, but warfare, it means it against the nation, against the state. So cyber warfare involves the units which are organized along the nation and state boundaries, and it is very much offensive or defensive operations that happens using computers to attack other computers or networks. So students, one computer system networks is attacking another system and networks, are hacking it, misusing it, and it is happening interstate, it is happening across the nations. This is cyber warfare, and there are various examples to this. One such example is the bronze soldier attack in 2007 on Estonia. So bronze soldier is basically a photograph, a particular statue of a soldier in basically Estonia, and this is the name given to the attack, cyber attack. It was alleged that Russia did this attack, particularly at the parliament, ministries, banks, media of the Estonia country. So this is one of the examples of 2007, way back. In 2010, there was another attack called as Stuxnet worm attack. This attack, the name of the attack is the Stuxnet worm attack. It happened at the Iran's nuclear program, and it is being alleged that USA, with the help of Israel, was the country behind such attack. So you know that USA and Iran, they are very much opposite in their words, actions and everything. It has been alleged by US many times that Iran is trying to misuse the nuclear ability in converting it into a nuclear weapon though it is been many a times said by the Iran that they are using it for creating energy. So this is one kind of a tussle, and this problem, this particular invasion of cyber attack that happens is called as Stuxnet worm, which is trying to see that what kind of a program Iran is undergoing. Very good example. Then DDoS attack in Ukraine in 2014. It has been alleged that Russia was the responsible country behind this attack, and at that point of time Russia also annexed Crimea, if you remember. So this is another example of DDoS. I've already explained you what is DDoS. One example is of North Korea in 2014. It was alleged that it was blamed for a cyber attack on the Sony pictures. So North Korea, South Korea, they are in somewhere at war with each other, and these things happened. It's past. So students, these are the various examples that happened in the past. You can quote these examples, but I will give you some other examples as well, recent examples in fact. One such example is of Cambridge Analytics scandal. So what happened in this particular example? So this will be a fifth example, I would say. In this particular case, what happened? Basically, it is being said that the data was harvested. In this attack, it was said that at least 50 million peoples or users data of Facebook was manipulated. First of all, it was hacked and manipulated, and it was used for manipulations in the election process or election outcomes in USA. So it was alleged that this particular the scandal, this is particularly the software or the company which is alleged to do so, and it was said that Russia was the reason behind, and it did this kind of a manipulation using Facebook, where the election process is being somewhere at a interference in the election process. So what will happen? You will take out the data of the people, you will see what is their liking, what is their disliking, which way they are oriented, and now you start directing them with the photographs and videos, so that there is somewhere the mind, their influence in their voting, that somewhere they are being directed for some kind of a influential voting. So this is one of the examples, fifth example. Sixth example is again another Russian attack. See students, during the cyber war, if we say, then there are mostly allegations, there are mostly blames. It is many a times not being clear that whether the country is coming forward and stating that yes, I am the country behind doing such kind of an attack. And mostly it happens that these kind of attacks, they happen at the anonymity of the attack is very much there, but everyone knows indirectly that which country is somewhere involved. That is why I am using the word alleged and blaming. Right. So Russian backed attack again. The name of the attack was Nobelium. Very unique word, and UPSC will then ask you such kind of creative words and ask you that where we have read about this particular word and associated with which form. So it is definitely related to cyber crimes and cyber attacks. In this particular activity, phishing attack happened. Over 3,000 emails accounts to seek the important information. Another attack in 2021. So this attack happened at the end of 2020, and this is, I am talking about 2021 attack, very recent attack of US organizations, where many US organizations, they were attacked, and it is being said that this kind of an attack was done by the Chinese groups, and the name of the group is Hafnium. So remember these keywords, Hafnium, Nobelium, they are associated with cyber crimes. So these are the recent examples of somewhere cyber warfare actually, because nations are actually directly or indirectly being involved. So remember this topic, very important topic, And now I will discuss with you about the Snowden revelations. What is Snowden talking about, and what actually was the case? So this is the photograph of the person called as Edward Snowden. Who is he? He used to work, he was the employee of the Central Intelligence agency, that is CIA, right? And he was also a former contractor of or for a national security agency. So students, these agencies, this CIA or NSA, these are USA agencies. So this person used to work there, but in 2013 what he did, he leaked many documents, and he said that he did so for the ethical reasons, because people should know that there was a mass surveillance was going on, particularly with the help of other agencies, and many of the European countries were also part of it, and they were trying to do this mass surveillance on other states. In fact, foreign people also, foreign agencies in particular, foreign organization also, and in fact domestically also it was doing so. So he said that it was very important for people to know that what USA is actually doing, what NSA is doing, and what CIA is doing, and this is not good, and this is all being done using cyber world. So this is a very important topic actually, and it was after its revelation, it was seen that this cyberspace is now becoming a theater of warfare in 21st century. This is something being said by the Snowden, Edward Snowden, and now today he's gained the he's living in Russia. Actually, Russia has supported him now, but we do not know what actually the story behind. We just simply know what facts came up and what he did actually in 2013, which was the act of you don't know, matlab, uh, is this ethical, or exposing such information, giving such information, many impacts that was seen later on also, and today in itself. In fact, I will try to discuss that with you. I just clean this particular slide, and now if we discuss the impact associated with the revelations by the Snowden, what impacts does it have? Now the internet governance is basically, many governments and many countries, they understood that now it's the era of internet governance. Whoever dominates the internet dominates the world. First point. Second point is that many terrorist groups, after the revelations done by the Snowden, many terrorist groups, what they did, they changed their working and communication methods. So this is basically not good, because if such surveillance were happening, then many of the terrorist groups, they also understood, particularly example if I take Al Qaeda, they understood that this is not the way of communication, and they just, because of these revelations, they understood that there has to be some different ways. Third point is that a fifth dimension or theater of warfare has started actually, and you have seen the examples also. Earlier, the war used to happen on land, and then it started in water, and then air, and then fourth is space. Now the fifth dimension is theater of war, is basically cyber world and cyberspace. And because of this, after this these revelations, as I've already told you this, because of this, the governments and nations are now in cyber arm race. So taking this example and understanding the impacts, there can be one question tomorrow that can be asked to you, that many a times government is being alleged that it does mass surveillance and on its people and the foreign people as well. So what do you think, that government secrecy is important or not, and then what balance should be there? Balance between, in the name of, if it is doing so in the name of national security, versus the information privacy. So UPSC can ask you your views regarding the information privacy, the right to privacy, and then the national security. What balance needs to be created, and how do you see to this? So even if a essay comes up to this topic, considering cyber security being so important topic, always be ready for such kind of debates, right? So I hope you understood the topic of Snowden revelations and who was Edward Snowden. Now last topic actually is how come cyber war is different from the traditional war. If there has to be some differences, what are these differences? So considering and understanding cyber war, how is it different from traditional war? If it is being asked to you, then you can mention these points. First point is the independent theater of war. As I already explained to you, that it is a unique theater of war which one country, one nation can do to another. Second point is the undefined space. If this kind of a war is happening, then it is basically what? It is borderless. There is no national boundary, and if it is on land, then there will be definite specific boundary, water or air, maybe space as well, but there is undefined space for cyber war. And third is the disguised attackers. Definitely the identity of the attackers can be anonymous and we are not sure of. And last point is basically the no contact war. So there will be no contact between the nations, and still you can actually harm the economy of the other nation. You can harm the culture of the other nation. You can harm its environment. In fact, everything is possible using this cyber world. And this way we can say that tomorrow, if any kind of world war is going to happen, then cyberspace is one arena where this kind of war will happen or can happen, right? So considering all these points, I would like to define lastly, what is cyber terrorism. This can be another potential question, and you must be able to define what is cyber terrorism. And it simply means that there is a convergence between cyberspace and terrorism. And if you would like to define this particular word, then you can say it refers to unlawful attacks and threats of attacks. So if it can be unlawful attack or threats of attacks, there can be threat also, basically against computers, networks and information when done. Why it is being done? Why it is done? First of all, these attacks will be against the computers, networks or maybe information. Why these attacks are done? Because to intimidate or coerce governments or its people for what is the purpose? For any kind of political or social objectives. So this is the best way of defining cyber terrorism, where such kind of unlawful activities and attacks are happening on computer networks and information, and in fact it is trying to intimidate or coerce the government or its people for its own political or social benefits. So students, try to define a particular word in a very specific manner. Do not just digress from the particular question that has been asked to you. Stay up to the point, mention everything in points, try to support your answer with a specific flowchart or the diagram, and this way with particular government initiatives or global and national and international examples if asked so, and this way you can frame a very good answer. I hope the topic is very much clear. What is cybercrime, what is cyber security, what are the components of cyber security, what are the types of cyber attacks, cyber warfare against the women. All such topics have been dealt here. In the second part, we will discuss regarding the measures and countermeasures taken by the government and security agencies. So I hope you understood the topic well. Thank you so much, students.